In this world, everyone wants to know. We scroll, we search, we spy, we dig, looking for answers, for secrets, for things that were never meant to be uncovered. It's human nature to be curious. But not every door is meant to be opened. Not every truth is meant to be known. There are things hidden from you for a reason. Not because people want to deceive you, but because knowing them might destroy you. It might steal your peace, shift your spirit, or turn love into judgment. Some truths are like fire. Once you touch them, you can't go back to who you were before. Ever wonder why your parents never told you everything about their past? Why a partner never explains every detail of their ex-relationship? Why governments seal certain files or elders remain silent about family history? It's not always manipulation. Sometimes it's mercy, because the heart can only carry so much truth before it breaks. And Rasta knows that wisdom is not just about seeking. It's about knowing when not to seek. To be spiritually mature is to trust that Jah reveals what needs to be known when the time is right. And until then, some things are best left in Jah's hands. The desire to know too much is what led man out of the garden. It was never the fruit that was deadly. It was the hunger to possess what wasn't meant for man to carry. And today, many still eat from that tree, snooping, questioning, doubting, only to end up more confused, more broken, more bitter than before. So today we reason on this. Why some truths should remain hidden? Why not every mystery needs solving? And how, in trying to know everything, you may lose the very peace you were trying to protect. Let's begin. The curse of curiosity. Why some things are hidden. Curiosity is a gift, but it can also be a curse. It's the same force that builds civilizations and, at the same time, destroys homes, hearts, and peace of mind. There's a fine line between seeking knowledge and stepping into realms you're not prepared for. Rastafari teaches, everything has a season, everything has a place, and Jah reveals in divine time. But Babylon tells you to pull back every curtain, expose every secret, dig up every past. And when you move by impulse, by ego instead of spirit, you end up seeing things you weren't ready for. Things that change how you see people, how you see yourself, how you see life. Some truths are not hidden to punish you. They are hidden to protect your peace. A child doesn't need to know every struggle the parents went through just to raise them. The innocent don't need to know the full weight of the battlefield. And the soul that's still healing doesn't need to carry the weight of someone else's trauma just to feel informed. But many today confuse knowing with power. They think, if I know everything, I can control everything. But real power is not in knowing all things. It's in knowing what not to chase. Because the deeper you dig into some matters, the more you realize that wisdom would have been to leave it buried. Sometimes you think you're just being curious, but curiosity can quickly become obsession, and obsession leads to destruction. You ask, why did they leave me? But are you ready to hear that maybe it was you? You say, what are they hiding? But are you strong enough to carry the weight of that answer without turning bitter? You dig into family secrets, and now you can't look at your uncle, your father, or your mother the same way again. You force someone to tell you everything about their past, every mistake, every wound, and now you can't unsee it. What was once love becomes suspicion. What was once peace becomes confusion. So Rasta says, leave some things to Jah. Let the Spirit guide what you need to know. If it's meant for you, it will come. And if it's veiled, it might be because Jah knows that your peace is more important than your pride. Even the scriptures hold mysteries that are sealed. Even the prophets were told, write it down, but do not reveal it. So if Jah hides things, who are we to uncover them all? Don't let curiosity lead you into darkness. Sometimes not knowing is the very blessing that keeps your soul steady. And those who walk in Jah's light don't need to see every shadow, because they trust the path ahead, even when it's not fully revealed. When you discover too much about a person, sometimes the desire to know someone completely becomes the very thing that destroys the connection. You start off with love, trust, and warmth, but then your curiosity creeps in. You want to know what they did before you met them, who they loved, who they hurt, what mistakes they made, what dark parts they carry inside. And yes, some honesty is necessary, but too much exposure, too early, or too forcefully, can wound more than it heals. Rastafari teaches discernment, not intrusion. To see a person with spiritual eyes means accepting that Jah is still working on them. But Babylon teaches the opposite. It says dig, interrogate, expose, possess every detail. And when you go down that road, you often find things your heart wasn't built to carry. Maybe they made mistakes when they were young. Maybe they were broken, just trying to survive. Maybe they did something shameful, not because they were evil, but because they didn't yet know themselves. Now you've seen it, and your love can't look at them the same way. You thought you wanted the truth, but you weren't asking out of love. You were asking out of control. And now the truth has changed you. You no longer speak to them gently. You no longer trust the same way. Now you overthink. You compare. You judge. You've crossed a line, and now you're trying to love someone through a lens of suspicion, not compassion. Rasta says, let Jah reveal what you need. The rest is between them and the Most High. Because sometimes what someone did before you came into their life was never meant to touch your spirit. It was between them and their Creator. They were already forgiven, but now you've dragged it back to life. The same thing happens with relatives. You find out about something that happened in the family years ago. Some betrayal, some shame, some hurt. And suddenly, your image of that person is cracked. You can't laugh with them the same way. You stop showing up with the same love. But what if Jah was protecting your relationship by keeping certain truths out of your path? Some truths don't need to be discovered. They need to be respected. You don't need to read every chapter of someone's book to love them fully. Sometimes, Jah introduces you at chapter 7 for a reason, because chapters 1 through 6 would only make you judge, not understand. Let love be deeper than curiosity. Let your trust in Jah be stronger than your need to control. Not every shadow needs a flashlight. Not every scar needs an explanation. And not every story needs to be told in full. Love them as they are now. See the light they walk in today. And trust that if something needs to be known, Jah will show you when your heart is ready, not when your ego demands it. When Jah removes something, don't chase it. Sometimes in life, something or someone disappears, and our first instinct is to chase after it. A friendship ends, and we try to patch it. A door closes, and we knock louder. A blessing seems delayed, and we force it. But Rastafari teaches, when Jah removes something, it is not your job to chase it. It's your duty to trust Him. Because not every absence is a curse. Some are divine protections. Some are spiritual promotions. Some are the mercy of Jah disguised as loss. Babylon teaches the opposite. Babylon says, fight for everything. They push this idea that losing something means you're weak or that you failed. But the wise Rasta knows, Jah subtracts before He multiplies. He prunes before the fruit comes. He breaks before He builds. Just as a farmer clears the dead branches to let the tree live again, Jah removes the weight from your life so you can rise lighter. Think about it. If you're climbing a mountain and your bag is too heavy, you won't make it. Jah knows what you can carry. Sometimes what feels like loss is simply the Most High saying, you don't need this where I'm taking you. It could be a relationship, a job, an idea, a belief system, anything. But when it's gone, don't run after it like it was your savior. Run to Jah. If it was meant for you, it wouldn't need to be forced. Look at Moses. He wanted to enter the promised land, but Jah said no. David wanted to build the temple, but Jah chose Solomon instead. Even Paul had a thorn in the flesh that Jah refused to remove. Why? Because Jah is not in the business of pleasing the flesh. He is in the business of shaping the soul. And some things must be taken away so the soul can grow strong, humble, and obedient. A Rasta learns to say, let it go, not from weakness, but from overstanding. There's power in surrender. Not everything you lose is an attack from Babylon. Sometimes it's the fingerprint of Jah moving in silence. Think of the Red Sea. Pharaoh chased what Jah had already let go of, and it cost him everything. The Israelites walked forward in faith. Pharaoh looked backward in pride. The sea split for one and swallowed the other. And so it is with life. When something leaves your hands, don't try to reclaim it through manipulation or desperation. Be still. Watch. Wait. Jah's hands never drop anything by accident. The universe works by divine timing. When Jah removes, he's making space. For healing. For clarity. For something greater than what you had the courage to imagine. So the next time someone walks out of your life, let them. If a season ends, give thanks for the lessons it gave. If a dream seems to fade, trust that the real dream may still be forming. Rasta don't chase what Jah removes. We listen. We learn. We trust the silence. Because Jah is always speaking, even through absence. And sometimes the blessing is not in the return, but in the release. Jah's delays are not denials. There's a deep lie Babylon plants in the minds of the people, that if something doesn't happen quickly, it's not meant to be. If the blessing takes time, then maybe Jah isn't listening. But the true ones know. Jah never says no without a higher yes. And he never delays without a divine purpose. His silence is never rejection, it's preparation. The Rasta learns early that Jah's movement is not bound to earthly clocks. Babylon rushes. Babylon chases deadlines. But Jah moves like nature, steady, intentional, perfect. A mango tree don't bear fruit overnight. The roots go deep before the branches reach high. And so it is with your blessings. So it is with your journey. Jah's delays are divine delays, never accidental, always instructional. Sometimes Jah delays the blessing because you're not ready. Other times, the blessing is not ready for you. And sometimes, and this is the hardest truth, he delays because the waiting is the blessing. It's in the waiting that your faith is sharpened. It's in the delay that your trust is purified. It's in the space between the prayer and the promise that you truly meet Jah, not as a wish-granter, but as the I am. Ask Abraham. Jah promised him a son, but made him wait 25 years. Why? Because the miracle wasn't just about a baby. It was about building a man of faith. Ask Joseph, thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, imprisoned unjustly, and still made second in command of Egypt. Jah wasn't late. Jah was building the path. Delays refine the vessel so it can hold the blessing without breaking. You see, Babylon wants fast results. The world gives you fast food, fast fame, fast cash. But everything fast burns quick. It fades. But Jah, he builds to last. He moves in eternity, not urgency. His timing is perfect even when it feels painful. The Rasta who overstands this walks differently. We don't panic in delay. We don't curse in waiting. We give thanks, even when the sky stays silent. Because we trust the architect, not just the outcome. Jah may delay to protect you. There are blessings you prayed for that would have destroyed you if they came too early. There are people you begged Jah to keep in your life, and Jah removed them, because their presence would have poisoned your growth. His delays are shields. His denials are redirections. Every no from Jah is a deeper yes to something you can't yet see. So when it feels like the gates are closed, don't let Babylon deceive you. You are not forgotten. You are being fortified. Delay is not denial, it's divine design. The harvest is sure. The promise is alive. But the soil must be tilled. The roots must go deep. The soul must be prepared. And when the time is right, not your time, but Jah time, nothing in Babylon can stop the blessing from flowing. When Jah hides his face, it's because he's nearer than you think. There comes a moment in every faithful one's journey when Jah feels silent, when prayers rise like incense, but no fire falls from the heavens, when the soul cries out, "Where are you, Jah?" and all you hear is stillness. This silence can feel like abandonment, like you're walking alone through a desert with no sign, no voice, no miracle. But hear this truth clearly. When Jah hides his face, it's not because he's far, it's because he's close in a way your senses can't yet perceive. Jah doesn't abandon. He doesn't walk away. He hides only so your spirit can learn to see without eyes, hear without ears, and trust without proof. This is the higher reasoning. This is the deeper livity. Babylon teaches that absence is proof of non-existence. But Rasta knows, the silence of Jah is a sacred veil. Behind it is a power so holy, so close, it must be approached with reverence, not noise. Look to the Psalms. Even David, man of Jah's own heart, cried, "Why do you hide your face from me?" But every time, Jah came through. Not because David shouted louder, but because David learned to wait deeper. Jah's hiddenness is often a test, not a punishment. He hides his face to reveal your faith, to separate the ones who seek his hand from those who seek his heart. Even Christ in his final hour cried out, "My God, why have you forsaken me?" Not because Jah truly left, but because the silence was part of the sacrifice. There are moments when Jah's silence teaches more than his speech, when his hiddenness forces you to search, and in searching, you transform. The Rasta who endures this dark night of the soul does not come out the same. He or she comes out stronger, wiser, humbler, more rooted in spirit and less dependent on the flesh. And consider this. Maybe Jah hides because he wants to see if you will still walk with him without reward. If you will still chant psalms when the heavens don't answer. Still hold the faith when the fire gets cold. Babylon faith is conditional, but Rasta faith is rooted. It says, "Even if I feel nothing, see nothing, hear nothing, I still know Jah liveth." Sometimes, the hiding is for your protection. The full glory of Jah would burn you if it appeared all at once. So he reveals himself in pieces, in signs, in whispers, in moments. Other times, the hiding is to push you deeper, to pull the prayer out of you that you didn't know you had, to unlock dimensions of your soul that only silence could awaken. So don't curse the quiet. Don't run from the hiddenness. Lean into it. Sit in it. Know that the teacher is always silent during the test, but the presence never left the room. Jah is closer than the breath in your lungs, closer than your shadow at noonday. His silence is sacred. His hiddenness is holy. And when you least expect it, in a word, a dream, a breeze, a line from scripture, he reveals himself again. Not because you earned it, but because you endured it. So hold on, faithful one. Don't lose heart when Jah hides his face. Trust that he is working behind the veil. And when he reveals, it will be in a way that leaves no doubt. Jah was there all along. If this message resonated with your soul, give thanks and show love by liking this video and subscribing to the Zion Way. This is the place where truth meets livity, where spirit rises above Babylon noise. New light shines every week to guide your journey with wisdom, strength, and faith. Stay rooted, stay conscious, and keep walking with Jah. Until next time, walk good, live righteous, and never forget, Jah's time is always right.